Hey there, TRASTRA fans. Hello, Internet. Welcome to another edition of our Friday morning coffee shop. I'm not going to bore you with all kinds of musings on the fact that crypto markets are in the toilet right now. You have a lot of reading material out there on this subject. Today, we're going to try to decipher some of the terminology and some of the more complex concepts behind the current state of events, and I'll introduce you to some people. I've come across some cool videos that I thought we'd review together and maybe comment on those. And let me just take this opportunity to remind you that over the remainder of June and especially beginning July, we will be running all kinds of giveaways and chances for you to win a lot of USDT. I'm talking hundreds of USDT. We've come up with all kinds of competitions and way for you to win, and none of them really requires any special skills or anything, any special knowledge. All you have to do is either sign up to our news media, our social media, or leave a comment, or commit to some sort of an action that doesn't really require any commitment. So all for you. Just make some easy buck, easy USDT for that matter. And Friday Coffee Shop, let's get back to that. Let's begin with this article right here. This is probably the most concise and kind of a very mellow narrative with all kinds of very useful links. And it basically gives you a timeline of what's going on with Gemini, BlockFi, Celsius, and other crypto businesses that are really market makers that had to throw in the towel over the last couple of weeks and basically let the world know that things with crypto are far from rosy. So I recommend this piece. It's very well written. Like I said, it's very simple to digest. It's got a lot of great links, lots of great information, great quotes from people who deserve to be heard. So I recommend it wholeheartedly. It's actually a pretty great website, and if you sign up for their newsletter, you do very well for yourselves. Moving on to CoinDesk Consensus. I don't know if you follow this thing or not. Hopefully you do, because CoinDesk Consensus is probably the crypto event of the year, and in 2022 it took place. I think it's in Austin. It was in Austin since June 9th to June 12th, Austin, Texas, that is. Unfortunately, I was unable to attend, but a lot of great people did. CoinDesk naturally dedicates the entire section on its website to consensus events, and this sort of a diary of consensus is really pretty cool. There's some headliners out here like Pussy Riot. I don't know if you're familiar with what Pussy Riot is. I could share my opinion with someone who's really close to me, someone that members of my inner circles, because my opinion of the Pussy Riot band group, rather collective, requires the use of derogatives and all kinds of pejoratives, which I'm not inclined to do right now, especially in this format. But you do very well to read this article right here and basically familiarize yourself. What is Pussy Riot, and what are the trends in sort of a political DAO kind of inner workings of crypto collectives that are trying to raise funds via all kinds of different crypto mechanisms. But those mechanisms are not all. You have to be able to read between the lines. This is a very important skill when it comes to gathering information from sources like Nadia Telekonikova, the cheerleader of the band Pussy Riot. So she's the only reason I'm paying attention to this is that she actually answered for what she was. She's proven that her conviction is real solid, because she spent like a couple of years, I think, behind bars in Russia, which is no easy feat, let me tell you that. So I guess for that alone, she deserves a lot of attention. But everything she says, and basically the moral of the story, is that you have to take it in with a huge grain of salt. But the article is pretty cool. And it's written by a cool guy. Daniel Kuhn. We've met in 2019 in New York at New York Consensus at that time. So I guess kudos to Daniel. Let's move on to something else. These are all the materials for you to take a look at, to look over the weekend. Yeah, in the same sections, you got some pretty cool interviews with some of the participants in the NFT industry, some of the more illustrious members of the Consensus Circle. So check it out. I think it's pretty great. Very productive use of your time if you look it over, on the weekend, and familiarize yourself with what went on at Consensus 2022. Let's move on to this Defiant article right here. I really love this source. I really love this resource. Defiant is the best when it comes to DeFi. Well, yeah, that's all in the name. These guys have it all clocked down. Content is top notch. The videos are pretty great. In one of my coffee shops, I think I've already covered the way they produce videos. by this guy Robin Schmidt, who's a cinematographer. He's a filmmaker by trade. So, and he's deep into crypto. So combine the two, and you get a very decent value, production value, and just material is top notch. So check it out. Join their newsletter. But this particular article is basically a deep dive into the Loomis-Gillibrand bill. I covered this in my newsletter, in my newsreel on Monday. So the two American senators have come up with a framework for cryptocurrency. It's kind of an overarching document that regulates and codifies supposedly the behavior of all the organizations, all the financial market participants in the U.S. who want to deal in crypto. That reactions to that bill were pretty lukewarm because it wasn't close to being as overarching as it was billed to be. So yeah, pun intended. So check out this article. One of the writers on the Defiant does the deep dive into the bill. Basically goes over everything that's in it, and gives you the skinny on that. Again, plenty of great, very useful links. Although a majority of them interlinked within the materials on the website. But the website, like I said, it's pretty awesome. So you're not losing anything. There's another article on this website. It's a recent post basically explaining what's quantitative tightening. You definitely heard about quantitative easing. It's basically when the government throws in some freshly printed dollars on a dollar per dollar basis, however much dollars are already in the economy. So the government's kind of matches that amount so that the dollar is backed up by the dollar. I don't know if it makes sense to you or not. But it's basically, when people say money printing, this is what they mean, quantitative easing. Now, quantitative tightening is the reverse process. It's very cool. I mean, if you're an academic, it's very cool. It's basically a reverse process when you take out the dollar per dollar on a dollar per dollar basis out of the economy. So this is the way to fight inflation. Again, I have a lot to say to that. Let me know in the comments if you want me to produce a video on inflation, what that is, and how is it interrelated with crypto. It's a fascinating subject, but it needs deep diving. I can't do a cursory reading of this. We have to deep dive. I have to give you some materials to look over. It's a pretty arduous but very rewarding process. So let me know if you want me to produce a video on that. But yeah, check out this article. It's very it's relatively short for the given the importance and complexity of the subject. It's got a lot of great links, so it's very educational. Let's move on to this one that I found in New York Times. This one is a fascinating article, okay? It's really, it's it's all in the title. Bitcoin is basically wedged in our society in the financial markets as a hedge against inflation. That's been proven basically wrong. Bitcoin's not, it's not a hedge against inflation. Whatever it is, it's not that. That it's a trustless and completely decentralized entity that's capable of replacing basically the current legacy financial system. Well, this article is basically computer scientists, geneticists, and physicists and biologists by trade, people who are very fluent with numbers and data, like Alyssa Blackburn. I mean, she's like data scientist. So they've been studying Bitcoin for a long time, and they've come up with a study that is going to knock your socks off. Yeah, basically this article is about socioeconomics of crypto and Bitcoin in particular, and it's a major aspect of the coin because if you listen to Michael Saylor, we'll talk about him later. I actually have a video with Michael Saylor that I wanted to check out with you together. If you listen to him, the major value proposition of Bitcoin is that it's backed up by by the most powerful computer network in the world, and the fact that since 2010, when it sort of appeared on the market radar, it went nowhere but up, and it's its moving average is $21,000, and it's time to buy. So we'll get to that later. But this article is about socioeconomics of Bitcoin, and it's not really, and the fact that it's not, if you really dig deep, it's not really decentralized, it's not trustless, it's not egalitarian. So you have to really take everything that Bitcoin proponents say openly with a huge grain of salt. So check out the article; it's really great. It's very useful and very thought-provoking. All right, so this is the video of Michael Saylor that I was talking about when he explains to CNBC that it's actually no big deal right now. I mean, it's according to Michael Saylor, right now it's a huge buying opportunity for everyone who believes in Bitcoin and understands what that is. It's only 4 minutes. I'm going to put it on. I want you guys to check it out and maybe view it once or twice when you're done with this video to basically let the whole thing sink in when a reporter asks Michael Saylor what's going on with his balance sheet, what's wrong with Bitcoin, what's happening with markets, Michael Saylor is like, well, hey, we've anticipated it all. It's like a deja vu from watching some Congress hearings or some politicians reacting to somebody asking them, hey, do you realize that the world's on fire? And they go, absolutely, we've anticipated that. We've back tested the whole strategy, and things are just couldn't be better. Right now, it's a great buying opportunity for all Bitcoin proponents. So by all means, everyone get into it. But these are not my words. These are words of Michael Saylor.
Michael, nice to have you with us.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Always. Listen, look to just start off on, we just said it, I think it's 129,000 roughly, a coin, average price of 30,700, spent about $4 billion on it. One would anticipate if the price stays where it is, that's going to cause a significant write-down overall. At least your auditors may ask for that. You know, you've talked for years about the financial flexibility owning all that Bitcoin gives you. I wonder if you believe it also works in reverse.
No, I think it's been a net positive. We back-tested our strategy against every other alternative. If you roll the clock back to August 10th of 2020 when we embarked on this journey, Bitcoin's performed 10x better than anything else. Gold's down 10%, NASDAQ is flat, Bitcoin is up 86% since that time. Over any time frame, 2 years, 4 years, 8 years, Bitcoin's the best performing asset. I can't come up with a better idea.
You can't come up with a better idea. Does that mean that you would actually consider buying more at these prices?
Yeah, I think if you think about Bitcoin, if your time horizon is 1 month, it looks like a volatile risk asset. But if your time horizon is 10 years, it looks like a risk-off store of value asset. So the crossover point is 4 years. Nobody's ever lost money investing in Bitcoin for 4 years. And if you want a surrogate for the book value of the Bitcoin network, it would be the 4-year simple moving average. The simple moving average of Bitcoin over 4 years is about $21,685. Bitcoin's only touched that point a couple of times in its history, and those have always been great buying opportunities. Right, this is Bitcoin's on sale.
We're touching that price right now. It's funny you should mention it. So is it a great buying opportunity?
Absolutely. Bitcoin's backed by the most powerful secure computer network in the world. If I gave you $100 billion, you can't reproduce it. And it's beyond a nation state attack or corporate attack. So once you understand that and the fact that it's a singularity, there's nothing like it in the world, then yeah, this is an ideal entry point to get into this thing.
This is one thing that I never understood, and I never will. The Bitcoin proponents claim that Bitcoin is beyond state control. I do not get this argument at all, because internet is under very tight state control. We know tons of examples that when states have basically told miners that they can no longer operate within their jurisdictions. I mean, I just don't get it. If you guys have an explanation to that, please welcome to the comments to this video. I'd really like to hear you out. Sorry, I think there was some sort of a technical issue here, and my camera froze. But anyway, I got it unfrozen. Let's go over some crypto Twitter. I just signed up. I just followed Dylan LeClaire. He's head of research at Bitcoin Magazine, and I suggest you do the same. Just follow this guy if you aren't already, because apparently he was able to predict the UST debacle. He's deep into the Celsius thing, and he's also made some pretty grim predictions about Celsius, and he'd sort of gotten well, not ostracized. Ostracized is not the right word for the reaction that he received through, from the crypto community. But he did turn out to be right, and so he's being interviewed right now all over the place. And his Twitter feed is pretty fascinating. So if you haven't already, please, please follow him. It's a sure bet. Unlike some of the companies and some of the aspects of crypto that he's talking about. I mean, he's a staunch proponent of Bitcoin, but he's a great researcher, he's a great journalist and analyst. So check him out. What else we have here? Alex Gladstein. I love this guy. He's just as pure-hearted as they come, I think, even though he works for like a human rights foundation, which is like a State Department CIA arm for charity and everything. I mean, there's just so much dark money involved in that process that whenever you hear Human Rights Foundation, just look up the list of donors, who founded it, with what purpose. It's just really dirty. But this guy's really bright. He's very much into Bitcoin. He understands it very well, so you do very well to follow him. He's got some pretty amazing thoughts on his Twitter feed, so check him out. Oh, okay. Yeah, this tweet is by one of my idols in the space, David Gerard. He's a Financial Times former writer. He's a computer scientist. So this guy's he works as a system administrator somewhere. So that leaves him enough time to write and everything, because his academic career apparently was taking up all the time that he had, and he really likes to write. He's a prolific writer. His blog, The Attack of the 50-Foot Blockchain, is really great. Check that out. I'm going to leave the link to that in the description. But this tweet right here is about the conspiracy theory that Tether is developing right now to let the crypto world know that it's being taken down by some sort of pseudo financial mechanism behind crypto. I mean, check it out. Check out the article. Usually I don't read Vice, but since it's been shared by David Gerard, who I have tremendous amount of respect for, I've decided to, put you up to it. So check it out. It's pretty cool. Oh, Matt Binder. Love this guy. He's actually, there's a link to the video that I urge you to check out over the weekend. My favorite David Gerard's in it, and some other person I'm not familiar with, Amy Castro. Oh, Amy Castro. Jesus. Yeah. She's pretty great. To watch this trio. And I also wanted to point your attention for the 130th time to our blog, where we regularly put up fresh articles, and we think that these topics may, come in handy for you guys. So we've put up a lot of content recently. I'm not going to go through every single article, but just check it out. See if you find something useful for yourselves and your, anyone who's into crypto. And the last item for today, I'm sorry to have to make you look at my mug again, but this is a fascinating interview with Stephen McKeon, one of my favorite people when it comes to crypto and securities tokenization and equity tokenization, basically all things NFT. And he's a finance professor at the University of Oregon, but I think he's on leave right now because he's full-time partner at the Collab Currency Fund. I'm going to leave the link to that in the description, but I think all that's already in the description to that video, so if you watch it, you'll see it. I encourage you strongly to check it out because, in that direction. Like I say in the introduction to the video, it's I think it's the best half an hour that you'll ever spend on the crypto YouTube, because within that pretty limited time period, we've managed to cram so much information and so much insight that you guys, I think you're going to enjoy it. And this is it. Well, thank you so much for watching. We went a little long this time, but there's just so much going on in the world of crypto that it's impossible to do those short videos like a minute and a half or something. But yeah, check out all those materials. Let me know in the comments what you think. Don't forget about all of our giveaways, and in order to participate, all you have to do is sign up for our social media. Like the video, share the content, please leave me comments, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and I will see you Monday when I do my newsreel.